The demand for baby formula is growing by the day, and that problem is a double whammy for some moms. That shooting happening at this time yesterday, just a few houses down. That 51-year-old man who we're not identifying tonight, simply doing his job. According to neighbors, he had just had a conversation with the customer about what to do with that AC. He walked back to his truck to get his equipment. That's when he was gunned down. Take a look at this man. The Harris County Sheriff's Office released a close-up picture of the suspect they believe is responsible for shooting and killing an AC repairman. A neighbor who didn't want to be identified said she spoke to the customer who was getting their AC worked on and says the repairman had just arrived at the home.
He went into the gate and, find out what's going on with the AC, and then went out to get his stuff, his equipment to start working on it, I think. And that's when he was shot.
ABC 13 obtaining this exclusive video of the suspected gunman running from the scene shortly after the shooting on Summit Valley Drive around 6:30 Thursday evening. Harris County Sheriff's deputies later confronting that suspect about a block away from the crime scene.
That male fled the scene to a residence about a block away where he entered a vehicle that was unlocked. That's where deputies found him, confronted him. He took off on foot. Deputies lost him.
Deputies found the 51-year-old victim lying unresponsive on the sidewalk, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was flown to Memorial Hermann Hospital, where he later died.
We're all scared. We fear for our lives because the suspect has not been caught.
Take another look at the suspect, who was described as a black man with an afro, last seen wearing a black T-shirt, red sweatpants with an S symbol on the left pant leg, and red slippers. Deputies saying that suspect is considered armed and dangerous and is still on the run tonight.
It's not a safe feeling, a secured feeling anymore.
Patrina Adger, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
It's definitely crazy that graduation is so close and it still doesn't even feel real.
At just 19 years old, Haley Taylor Schlitz has accomplished so much more than your average teen, even your average adult for that matter. While attending public school in the 5th grade, she wasn't accepted into her school's gifted and talented program, even though Haley says her mother knew otherwise.
She thought maybe I just needed more of a challenge to just be engaged in something that's a little bit more difficult and interesting. And the teacher said that I didn't do well on the pre-STAR test or the pre-tax test or whatever, and that I needed to be held back.
That's when Haley's mother pulled her out of public school and started homeschooling, where the then 11-year-old began to thrive, learning at her own pace. Haley graduated from high school with honors at 13. 3 years later, at 16 years old, she became the youngest graduate from Texas Women's University in Dallas. In 2019, the teen was accepted into 9 different law schools across the country, choosing SMU's Dedman School of Law. This Friday, she will not only become SMU's youngest law graduate, but she will be the youngest Black law school graduate in the nation. Haley plans to use her law degree in education policy to increase opportunities for gifted and talented girls and students of color.
I want more access to gifted and talented programs in general. So yes, more testing being provided, allowing more students access to it.
As for what's next after graduation,
I'm going to study for the bar over the summer.
And already has jobs lined up in Washington and Austin. Haley says she's thankful for these new opportunities and doesn't feel like she's missed out on her teen years.
I have had 2 proms. I had a debutante. So I have been very, very celebrated and had a lot of parties and stuff. Still feel like a normal teen, a normal person.
Patrina Adger, ABC 13 Eyewitness News. I spoke to a 16-year-old who says she hasn't been to school in 2 days, saying she fears for her life after a message saying all N-words must hang.
Yeah, this is a threat, a huge threat about hanging the N-word.
Tiffany Seidler says her stomach dropped when she saw this social media group chat among white students at East Bernard High School.
It was supposed to be about prom, but it just ended up being racist.
16-year-old Tyra getting a heads up from a friend who was in the thread Monday when 5 to 6 students were discussing a party bus for their February 5th prom. One student responded to the thread saying no black people were allowed. Another student responding, amen. Then this message from one student saying all N-words must hang, with a follow-up message, what he said. We blurred the names of the students involved as well as the language used.
She's supposed to go to school to learn, not be afraid to go to school because they're talking about hanging. You know, that's a huge threat.
I just feel uncomfortable being there now because that's a threat, but I just don't want to go to that school anymore.
The messages screenshot and shared to other students and parents demanding something be done. Tyra fearing backlash from a student body where she says blacks are outnumbered. The district superintendent didn't return my calls for comment, but we found this statement on the school's website saying in part, the district was made aware of the group chat Monday evening. A full investigation began immediately the next morning and continued Wednesday. Students involved with the group chat and racist hate speech are receiving disciplinary measures in accordance with the Student Code of Conduct. These measures are confidential. As for whether Tyra will go to the prom,
Parents are telling them they can't go because of the threat. They think something's going to happen at prom, and I don't even think I want to go anymore.
Patrina Adger, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.